The fallout continues after CBS announced that it's canceling The Late Show after a 3-decade run, citing financial issues at the network. The suspiciously timed cancellation came just 3 days after show host Stephen Colbert spoke out against CBS, settling a lawsuit with President Trump for $16 million, calling it, quote, a big fat bribe, a lawsuit that legal experts say the network probably would have won if it went to court. That the show will cease to exist next year shocked many, as it recently hit a 10-year ratings high, but it all comes down to numbers, according to the top brass at Paramount Global, the parent company of CBS. At least that's what we're expected to believe. It has nothing to do with needing approval from the Trump administration to complete an $8.4 billion merger between Paramount and Skydance Media, right? A merger, by the way, that was greenlit by the Federal Communications Commission on Thursday after being in limbo for more than a year. In an interview with CNBC, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr responded to the Colbert cancellation and indicated that the media industry needs, quote, a course correction.
Did you want to see the Colbert Report go away in order to approve this deal? Was that part of the decision?
Well, look, it's clear to me that Colbert doesn't have it anymore. And it's sort of sad to see what's happening to Colbert. They obviously can't get it done. They're not making money over there. But I think they need a course correction. And frankly, I think, the media industry across this country needs a course correction.
Wow. It's a government official in America with the First Amendment saying the media needs a course correction. Just how far does the Trump administration plan to take this? In a post on Truth Social, President Trump seemed to imply that he intends to penalize media companies that he sees as being aligned with his political rivals. Quote, networks aren't allowed to be political pawns for the Democrat Party. It has become so outrageous that, in my opinion, their licenses could and should be revoked, end quote. The Daily Show co-creator Liz Winstead writes in Rolling Stone, quote, this is why Colbert's cancellation hits different, not just because he's one of the greats, but because his ousting is a warning shot. It tells comedians, even the white male successful ones, that there is a line. And if you cross it, they'll find an excuse to take you out, end quote. Liz Winstead is here. I'll talk to her about this all after a quick break. Joining me right now is the perfect person to have this discussion, Liz Winstead, a veteran comedian, co-creator of Comedy Central's The Daily Show. And Liz, you wrote a great piece that everybody should read to try and understand this, because people are getting gaslit. There are two competing narratives about why the Colbert Report was canceled. One is purely financial and economic, and the other one is political. You come from the world where you have to understand the economics of it and the comedy and the satire of it. Tell me what you think happened here.
Yeah, I mean, certainly no one is going to say, oh, we're thriving in television. People don't watch late night the same way they used to. Everybody knows that. But also to just drop the franchise itself, right? It's not like Stephen Colbert. It's a twofer, right?
Right.
And that says to me, we're afraid. Because we've watched with The Daily Show, with John Oliver, we've watched how people who do not have a dog in the fight. And what I mean by that is people who call BS, no matter who the powerful person is, on their hypocrisy or screwing up. And that's what Stephen has done brilliantly, John has done brilliantly, John Oliver has done brilliantly. So when the truth tellers are the comics, and those comics are actually resonating with the people that Donald Trump has not been able to reach, then he's got to go Plan B. And Plan B is, oh, look at me. I have a merger I need. Look at me. I can ask for what I want, and I can silence those voices because my, lardo-thin skin cannot take the ridicule that most people can, who are grown adults running a nation.
So for a moment, let's talk about the role of comics and satire everywhere.
Yeah.
They are the first to be targeted. It is a remarkable thing that when the government takes a satirist or a comic and calls them whatever, the Chinese do it, the Iranians do it, the Arabs do it, the Russians do it, the Hungarians do it. It's low-hanging fruit that we don't all recognize to be what it is when you go after a comedian.
Well, and I think what people forget is part of the reason that the political comedians and the satirists are so beloved is because you don't go into doing political satire because you want to get rich or you think it's a path to get famous.
Right.
You do it because there's something burning in you that needs to expose some things that are happening and that also needs to tell the folks who are the most affected by the policies that are happening that they're not alone and that they're seen.
Right.
And so when that happens and done well, the part that everybody yearns for when you talk about politics, when you talk about news people, when you talk about comedy, is the authenticity. When you are authentic, people gravitate to you.
Right.
And there is nothing and no one more authentic than Stephen. John, you look at these passionate pleas that they give nightly,
Yep.
and you're like, that is real.
Right.
That
You
is
can feel
real.
that sort of fire in them.
And the fire is what makes people come back. And if you lack the fire, man, do you hate it. And if that fire is directed at you,
Yeah.
you have no other choice because you're small to want to squelch it and put it out.
Okay, so you talked about Colbert and Jon Stewart and John Oliver. Here's the problem. And by the way, Jon Stewart commented, I guess, a week and a half ago or something. He said, you know, I've been fired from better places because this is also part of the Paramount place.
Yes.
But all of them will be fine.
Yes.
They'll all land fine. And as you pointed out in the break, there's the internet, and that's more powerful than TV these days. That said, there are a million comics who are not as well known. They're working in clubs. They're working underground. They're doing the third show, after midnight. This affects them too.
Yes, and I think I was thinking about, I left The Daily Show before 9/11. When 9/11 happened and I was trying to launch a new show, forget about it. Forget about anybody. We'll remember how every person in late night sort of had to apologize for America instead of saying, maybe we should hold America accountable. What parts of what we do harm people? And those of us that wanted to actually not retreat, but say, we need to look into this, had a really hard time finding new shows, finding platforms. I'm telling you, I still do stand-up, and I'm out there trying to find theaters that will book somebody who's going to challenge people. I also run an abortion rights organization. I talk about abortion a lot. They don't even understand that there is a massive audience for people that want to hear what we have to say.
Yep.
And because they don't, and because they're thinking so narrowly, I've had, this is a Paramount thing, but I've had local CBS affiliates say, "Oh, this year we're not gonna have you on to promote your show."
Wow.
And so this isn't new, but I think the underlying pervasive nature of looking at late night, right, and saying, when was the last time a new show came on? We had Kamau Bell, we had Larry Wilmore, we had Michelle Wolf, we had Sam B. Canceled for financial reasons.
Right.
So it's very interesting how people don't want to take a risk. And I also think those of us that do it now, with all of the platforms that are out there, we need to utilize those platforms.
Right.
Now it's on us.
Right.
It's harder, but it's important.
Right. 20 years ago, that wasn't really an option.
That's right.
Now there's actually an option.
That's
so we
right.
should be hopeful. And that means to our viewers, you got to get out there and look for folks and support them. And it can't be, for people my age, the fact that you don't subscribe to that cable channel.
Yeah.
Go out there and support the people who are holding people to account through their comedy, through their satire.
That's right.
Liz, great to see you as always.
Great to
It's
see
been a long
you.
time. Let's make it more regular.
Yes.
Liz Winstead is a veteran comedian and the co-creator of the Comedy Central's The Daily Show.